It is another edition of Falls Friday Night State Quarterfinals edition, if you will. I'm Jonathan Hull, sports writer from Times Record News. Alongside me right now, Red River Roundups, Zach Duncan. Nolan Clark from 940 Game Day is getting in here pretty quick for us. And so he's on the road. He went out, made the long drive to that Peaster Paradise game and is still doing that, but he's going to try to get to joining us at some point here in the show as he's getting into town. So Zach and I, we were at Memorial Stadium. We watched Munster and Lindsay play in the playoff version of the Kraut Bowl. Really enjoyed that. For me, it was the best game I've seen all year. Before we really get going, though, with all of this stuff, we want to thank our sponsors right out of the gate. First off, our primary sponsor, you see their logo up in the right-hand corner of this stream with us all year, is Arrowhead Roofing. For more than 25 years, Arrowhead Roofing has been Texoma's trusted name for roofing, siding, gutters, and more. Local families count on Arrowhead to protect what matters most, their homes. When storms hit or it's time for an upgrade, call the team Texoma has relied on since 1999. Arrowhead Roofing, the exterior experts. And Macaulay Landscapes. For 21 years, Macaulay Landscapes has been keeping Wichita Falls beautiful. Whether it's keeping your yard green and healthy or transforming your outdoor space, Macaulay Landscapes has the experience and care you can count on. Visit MacaulayLandscapes.com to learn more about their full range of services. Macaulay Landscapes, making Wichita Falls look its best since 2003. All right, Zach. Man, we had a fun one out to Memorial Stadium. We're going to start with that. Munster beating Lindsay 28-14, a game that Munster seemed to really have in control, up 20-0 at one point, and then Lindsay comes claws back right into it, get to 2014 before Munster finally able to put it away with that deep pass play from Case and Carney to Clayton Cunningham, I believe is his last name. Spacing on that. Always at the wrong time there. I forget names. But anyway, yeah, Zach, your take on that game tonight.
Yeah, I think it was a really good game. Everyone kind of thought Munster would win, and they won the last game with a really dominant second half. I think they outscored them 35-7 second half last time. And they won this game kind of in the mid-third quarter. It's 7-0 at halftime. Lindsay had a chance to tie it up right before half, had a touchdown taken off the board with the penalty. And Munster comes out and goes score, 3-and-out score. And so at that point, it's 20-0. I think there's about 6 minutes left in the third quarter, maybe about 5. And hey, you go. Okay. And live hilarious is at my house. She's been wanting to get on the show all year, but so at 20-0, I mean, you're thinking like Lindsay hasn't even scored yet. Munster's scored twice real easily, but Lindsay has a nice drive. It's a big pass play over the top that sets up a touchdown run. Gets a blocked field goal, like when Munster still drives down the field and has a chance to go up 3 scores again, but Lindsay holds, forces a field goal, blocks the field goal. Lane Foster with a great block on that, a pretty good night for the Lindsay quarterback, and then drives and scores again. Joseph Manhart with a big pass, and all of a sudden you're 2014, and you're like, kind of like that Anna Paladuro game we had a couple weeks ago there, where like Anna's been in control the whole time, but now all of a sudden Paladuro's getting back in. Same thing with that. But Munster kind of slams the door, I think, on Lindsay there a couple minutes later. Carney rolls out. Cunningham makes about a 30-yard catch and then sheds his one defender and takes to the 40 yards kind of the rest of the way. At that point, we didn't really think, even though there's 7 minutes left, we didn't think Lindsay was coming back from that, and obviously they didn't. But what impressed me the most was this is a rivalry, and I've never seen the Kraut Bowl before, but it's a pretty respected rivalry. Like they don't. I mean, there's some teams that just hate each other, in rivalries, and yeah, they want to beat up each other on the field and run over each other and tackle each other and win the game, but very respected from both sides. I was impressed with that. Impressed with Munster, just kind of championship caliber type win. Probably feel like they left some points on the board. Probably feel like they didn't play their best game, but and that's a credit to Lindsay as well. But just impressed with the Hornets down the stretch. They're going to get Groover next week in the semifinals. I'm not picking against them. They're going to go to AT&T Stadium. I'm not picking against them. I mean, they aren't like there's no guarantee a title or anything. Every now and then, like Gordon's a 6 minute, like they're a guaranteed title. But Munster's not like that. But I expect them to be playing at AT&T Thursday morning that last week with a pretty decent chance to win.
See that Nolan Clark's joined us, and we're going to get him going here in a minute, talking about that Peaster Paradise game. So stay tuned. I know we already got some Peaster people starting to comment. They want to hear our thoughts. I want to give my thoughts real quick about that Munster game, and I think Munster is actually maybe even more dangerous than they were a year ago. One, they got a lot of guys back, obviously, that won a state title last year. Casey Carney, quarterback, coach's son, obviously in that mix. Nolan Pill, star running back, another one. Garrett Hess, who didn't get to impact the game offensively from the tight end position, but I think Garrett Hess would be a big time player at any level of football. Truthfully, I think he's a Division I type kid playing on that Munster team, and he just played a role tonight as a tight end. He did more blocking than he did. He didn't have a reception. His only catch was on a 2-point conversion. He's a big time player, though. I think the big difference from last year's team, and he did play in the state title game last year, but is the emergence of sophomore Dustin Croft. That kid, as a sophomore, he's a big kid. I mean, he's listed at 195 pounds. We don't know what his height is, but I mean, he's over 6 foot. Just a good looking athlete. And the way they get him involved, he carries the ball, he catches the ball. He's got over 1,000 yards from scrimmage this year. And adding him into a full-time role on that offense just makes it that much tougher to defend. Just another weapon, big time weapon, capable of big plays on any given down. It's almost unfair for a two-way team to have that many weapons. A lot of times at the 2A level, especially at 2A Division II level, and we've seen it, some of those teams that go and win state titles, they've really got that one star player that they rely on. I'm not saying like I'm going to use Mart as an example, right? Whenever they went for the 4 straight, they did win 3 straight, and Wentworth kept them from that 4th. Listen, there were athletes all over that field, but it was just that one quarterback, right? The quarterback really just made them go and did a lot of different things and led them. I mean, he was a supreme athlete playing at the 2A level. But to have as many weapons as Munster does on the field, consistently capable of picking up the slack if one of them's having an off game. The fact that Garrett Hess, an athlete like Garrett Hess, playing at that division, that level, can have no statistical impact on this game, and they win by 2 touchdowns, is a testament to how good that Munster team really is. And yeah, like you said, I'm not picking against them. I haven't been picking against them since the beginning of the year. Since they won the state title last year, I expected them to win the state title again this year. And I think they're well on their ways to living up to those expectations. Nolan, driving back, getting on the road, get him to unmute his microphone here in a minute when he can, and start talking to us. Because Peaster and Paradise, that game lived up to every bit of expectation I think we had on it. Low scoring, defensive battle, and Peaster pulls it out in the end.
Yeah, and no one's here. Okay, I was gonna let Nolan, you talk. Take it away. I wasn't sure we'd get him.
Oh, you're good. I'm guessing y'all can hear me then?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, just making sure. I'm pulled over in the big city of Scotland, so there's no promises on how this is going to work out. But yeah, like you said, what a game. Probably the best game I've seen all year. Feel like I've kind of been due for a really good game. I've been complaining a lot from some of the blowouts I've been catching. Just haven't had the luck of the draw go my way. But, and defensively dominated game through the first 3 quarters. It was 10-7 at halftime, same way going into the 4th quarter. Transitioning from the 3rd quarter to the 4th quarter, Paradise was down 10-7 and was putting together an offensive drive, and they finally were able to get a big play, found Lane Smith over the middle. So they went up 14-10. They turn around, forced Peaster to go 3 and out. So Paradise now has the ball in the 4th quarter, and they start getting a few first downs while running the ball. And they're slowly starting to milk that clock down. You can kind of feel like that window for Peaster to do something is really becoming tight. Well, they eventually get a third down stop and force Paradise to punt around the 2-minute warning, timeout, whatever it's called in high school nowadays. And it goes in the back of the end zone. So now Peaster has 2 minutes to go about 80 yards to win this thing. First play, sack. Second play, sack. So quickly before you know it, it's 3rd and 21. The ball's on Peaster's own 9-yard line. And you feel like the Greyhounds really have their back against the wall. You can feel the energy and momentum coming on the Paradise side. Well, they're able to get a big pass for about maybe 18 yards, make it 4th short and manageable. They put Mark Tolis in the Wildcat formation. He picks up the first down. Very next play, Luke Gray rolls out to his right. I don't know how this happened, but if there's one kid I don't want getting behind my secondary, it's going to be Cade McAuliffe. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. The one that can kick, play defense, catch passes, do everything for that Peaster offense. But he gets behind that Paradise offense, and I mean Luke Gray throws a beautiful ball into his hands, and he goes all the way down inside the Paradise 5-yard line. I don't know if he got tackled, if he went out of bounds, went down. I couldn't see from my vantage point. But in like a matter of 30 seconds, you have Peaster backed up on their own 9-yard line, needing 21 yards in 2 plays to keep the game alive. All of a sudden down inside the 5-yard line. First 2 attempts, they didn't get it. 3rd and goal, they put Mark Tolis at the Wildcat formation again. He gets it done. That video's up on my Facebook page. So Peaster goes up 17-14 with 16 seconds left. I mean, just a complete flip of the script of the game. The momentum, I've never felt momentum switch from one side of the stadium to the other. I know I've been doing this for a short amount of time, but I mean, it was wild to see how that game switched like that. But props to Paradise. I mean, they were able to put themselves in a manageable situation, got a good punt return. Were able to hit a couple quick out routes to put themselves in a Hail Mary situation. That video is also on my Facebook page, but it came up short. And for the first time in school history, Peaster is going to be headed on to the state semifinals, man. I mean, instant classic between 2 great teams. You know, Paradise was the school last year that was – we were talking about for the first time in school history, they were going to the state semifinals, and now here we are talking about Peaster. But, I mean, Paradise has nothing to hang their heads about. I think they've definitely set a new standard for that program the last 2 years. But, I mean, you play that game 10 times between those 2 teams. Each team's winning 5, and it's going to be a down to the final minute type game. But, I mean, it was an awesome game, total December playoff experience. And congratulations to Peaster. They will be moving on to play Grandview next week. Speaking of that bracket also, there's some big news out of that bracket, you know. We saw last week Columbus beat Franklin, who was number 1. Yeah. So it kind of felt like on that side of the bracket, defending state champs, Columbus was kind of the favorite now to maybe win 3A Division I. Well, we saw Columbus fall tonight. So now, I mean, you've said it all year, Jonathan. You felt like 3A Division I had the most kind of wide open window for anybody to really win it this year. You've seen in the last 2 weeks now, number 1, number 2, and number 3 in the state rankings all lose. I mean, there is a serious conversation that Peaster is going to be state champions in 2 weeks.
The 4 teams left are Peaster, Grandview, Yoakum, and Llano, whatever. I don't think anyone could have thought that. Okay, whatever, Llano. But mean pronunciations. But no one could. I mean, yeah, it's super wide open. Like, I think any of those 4 teams have a chance. Grandview with a pretty dominant win over Pottsboro tonight, which was impressive. Grandview won a state title or 2. Back 7-8 years ago, I think. I saw their first one. They beat Malakoff.
Real good team. Had a kid. Yeah, quarterback ended up playing at Baylor. Because who played Hershey played them, I think, in the regular season too, or something. I mean, I know
Hershey had them once. Yeah. But I mean, golly, Peaster's got to feel like with that defense they can play with anybody. Not surprised that game was 17-14. I think if anyone had surpassed 25 points, I would have been shocked. I'm sure the atmosphere was great there. I mean, that's a game that they're going to be talking about for a long, long time. That's pretty cool. I was really excited about Munster-Lindsay, but if you said, hey, if you can't do that game, what's another game you'd want to go to within a couple hours drive? I would have said Springtown for sure, and that definitely lived up to the hype.
But I said going in, I mean, of all the games in the state, that Piece to Paradise was at the top of my list of games I was really looking forward to, and and I'm a big school ball guy. Like I really enjoy big school ball. Nothing against small schools. It's just I don't know. I've been exposed to it and did it for a long time in my career. Spent most of my career here in Wichita Falls covering WFISD, covering 5A, 4A ball. So I like big school ball. But yeah, no, Piece in Paradise was my number one. I'm glad it lived up to that hype. Grandview's got a tradition, right? I mean the Zebras. Nothing going to be walking over there. I do think Region 2. I'm just going to shoot straight here. Region 2 was considered kind of the weaker of the four regions, I think, in the state in that classification. But
it usually hasn't been, because you've usually
no,
had
it
some
hasn't
good
been.
teams
Yeah.
like a Malakoff or whatever. Region 2, I think, has won more games than Region 1 has over the last 10 years, if you look back at semifinal history. So,
Yeah.
like
No, you got to go out there and beat them. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
think Grandview's not going to be. That's not going to be an easy game. But Peaster's defense is so legit. It's so good. I mean, it really is. And I'm sold on what they do defensively. The old adage, defense wins championships. I don't think that's actually always true in high school football, not in Texas, but it can be. And Peaster lives up to that reputation right now, saying that they can absolutely win this all. I don't know if Nolan, if you heard, did you hear anywhere like where them and Grandview might play next week, or I don't know if you got to talk to anybody that might know that.
I've not heard anything. So,
Well, obviously
we
that's one we're going to be keeping an eye on.
We heard Munster's going to get Groover, and we heard they're going to be flipping Memorial for maybe Canyon in the morning. So there's a chance Munster's back at Memorial. Also, a chance Munster's going all the way to the Panhandle. It depends on. They didn't want to play in Childers. I say they. I don't think Groover wanted to play in Childers. That's where they played last year. So, so Munster could be back again at Memorial Stadium. I think they'd appreciate that. Before we got to talk a lot about regional stuff like Stephenville and some of those games, Melissa Argyle. But before we get into that, we have to just bring attention to this, because you know me, I'm like a stat nerd and a history nerd. Kenneth Hall's state record that stood for 72 years, and any record that stands for that long in the state of Texas is like almost untouchable. It fell tonight. So Mount Enterprise, who is coached by Scott Ponder, which is the former Petrolia rider, our park coach. He's been at Tenaha. He's from Tenaha. He's been at a bunch of other places. They were playing Bremen in the state quarterfinals tonight in 2A Division 2 as well. And a guy named by the Keegan Ash rushed for like almost 500 yards of offense tonight. He needed he needed 250 to break Kenneth Hall's record. And the career record, which is like 11,000 something, it sounds like he's less than 100 yards from doing that. They'll play Shiner next week. I think it's Shiner in the state semifinals. But he set the new state single season rushing record tonight. Like I said, that thing stayed a record for 52 years. So that's really cool. I think he's a Tech signee. I don't know if Tech's looking at him at offense or defense, but Kagan Ash is his name, Mount Enterprise, and kudos to Scott Ponder, because I haven't talked to that guy in a while. But guy from our area, coached a long time up in this way, still has a team playing in the semis. So.
I think something that Ponder's usually known for too, just talking about Coach Ponder, and he always got a lot of attention, I think, for his kind of high octane passing offenses. But of course, if anybody remembers what he did at Petrolia, and the star of that team is Ross Harrison, who had an incredible season and career, all-time leading rusher for this area up here. And so, obviously he doesn't mind letting a running back getting his due and getting that. He just finds the best way to put his offensive athletes in areas to succeed. And, I don't think it's a long stretch to call Scott Ponder an offensive guru. The numbers kind of back that one up.
Around the state, so let's not necessarily state, but the region. Gunner won last night. Wall won today easily. Kind of sets up a pretty epic semifinal, probably de facto state title game there. But one score, I thought Stephenville would win, and they did come out on top 41-21. But I think they're down like 21-10 in that game, 21-7. They're down double digits in that game. Impressed the way Stephenville came back and captured that game. And then another game, Brock has beaten Graham, this year, Brock trying to win the region again after winning it last year. Greenwood played him tough for a half. That scores 14 all at half. And I'm thinking, wow, Greenwood, I'm impressed because I really thought Brock would win by about 3 touchdowns. And sure enough, second half, all Brock, it looks like on the scoreboard. So Brock going to play Carthage again for a rematch of last year, but Brock with the 35-14 win. What scores from around? Oh, we got to talk about 5A too, the Argyle Melissa game. What scores around the region surprised you? That was probably one of the bigger upsets, I think, Melissa beating Argyle.
Yeah, I'll let Nolan take that first.
The Melissa Argyle game, or scores from
or just what any score? Yeah, any score from statewide. What stuck out to you tonight?
Oh, so while typing them in, last year we saw Tidehaven and Gunner play at the state title. Tidehaven has been pretty consistent at being ranked number 1 in 3A Division II. They fell to East Bernard tonight. So that sets up East Bernard and Newton on the other side of that bracket. Like Zach said, I think it's probably likely Wall and Gunner next week is going to be the state title, but number 1 went down there. I don't think a lot of people had East Bernard winning that one as they were unranked. Trying to scan through my scores here on my phone. Like y'all brought up, Argyle falling to Melissa tonight in Memorial Legacies region there. And then another big one that's been pretty famous last few years, PNG and South Oak Cliff played again tonight, and South Oak Cliff shut PNG out 28-0. So big score there.
Yeah, that's impressive from South Oak Cliff. PNG's no joke. Man, there's always a lot of Division I talent on the field, but that's SOC. That's what they hang their hat on, right? It's defense. I mean, it truly is, and the amount of defensive talent that they have produced during this run that they've had is it's incredible. I mean, to go down the list, the guys that they're sending to the next level, and not just to the next level, but at the highest levels of college football, it's overwhelming. When I look at it, that was one that really stuck out to me too. Is that shutout that got me as I went down the list. West Texas, Stinnett, West Texas getting and just really handling Cisco. Now, I heard Cisco's quarterback was out, but they still, I mean, man, they've got a guy, and their QB can go. As we know, Hamilton just beating down Axtell, holding them to 3 points, 24-3. I mean, that was a standout performance. I think a lot of people didn't have Hamilton winning that region and being in the state semifinals at this point. And at the 6-man level, Strawn hanging 100 on Richland Springs tonight. Now they're into, the state title game. They're the ones who are going to go try to get some of Jayton. So I hats off to Strawn, and anytime Strawn wins, I mean, there's some good things happening at Mary's Cafe down there. Chicken fried steaks are going round, baby.
The Melissa game, I think Melissa ended up having, they were trying to appeal it, but I think they ended up playing without their quarterback for half. Maybe he came back. I don't know. This is what I do know. I saw the video. Argyle's got a 30-yard field goal in the last seconds to win that game. And Argyle, I felt like when I was checking it was back and forth, low scoring. But I think Argyle led a lot of the second half. And then, Argyle's got this field goal. I mean, Argyle's had some good kickers through the years. They had the Headland guy that played at the college level. And they missed the field goal. They're playing at the old Ranger ballpark in Arlington, and they missed the field goal. Now Melissa to the state semifinals, where I think they get South Oak Cliff, right? And so, I mean, I think that's a game that will be tough for Melissa, but I thought Argyle would be tough for Melissa too. And so that wasn't a shock. I felt like that Argyle wasn't a huge favorite, but I think that was definitely a big game that a lot of people were looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, another one I kind of forgot to mention tonight, I put it in my top matchup graphic, was I don't know if y'all talked about this, sorry if y'all did, but it was Salina and Alvarado. I mean, I was kind of interested. I heard rumors that Bo Bentley had broke his arm. Whenever I was looking at the Decatur stats from last week, they did have 2 separate stat lines from 2 separate quarterbacks, but I don't know if he played tonight or not. We saw Alvarado absolutely dominate Springtown last week. That was a really shocking result. So I was interested to see how that game went out tonight, and Salina took care of business, 52-27. That now sets up a massive matchup between Salina and Stephenville. That's number 1 versus number 2. That could also arguably be another state title decider right there. And with me being free Friday night and having family ties to Stephenville, I might make the trip to that game Friday night.
Yeah, that should be a great game. I saw posted online I don't know what Bentley's injury status was, but he didn't play the second half tonight because they were posting someone. I think Carter Yates of Dave Campbell's posted something like an All-State linebacker got put into the game and ran for 122 yards and 3 touchdowns. I'm sure they just got into a running package type thing and pounded the ball at Alvarado. So yeah, this guy Luke Biagni or whatever. Yeah, so Bentley's something's up. Like even I don't know if he played the first half or you know what? But Salina's going to go into that game, a little bit. I don't know. I think that's a great game. Like if Bentley's not healthy, I mean, I think Stephenville becomes the favorite in that game.
Mm-hmm.
If Stephenville wasn't already the favorite, but Salina's defense, Alvarado was averaging 65 points a game.
Yeah,
nobody stopped them. They held them to 27.
That's it.
That's massive.
Good.
Yeah, that's it. The lowest they had scored all year was 48 in a 48-0 win against Castleberry that had a running clock in the second half, and they called off the dogs.
Castleberry didn't play that one out.
Yes.
Yeah, so coaches nowadays, 27 points 20, 30 years ago would be a ton of points, but it's not now. Coaches say, hey, if I can cut them in half, we're good. So they obviously did a lot better than cutting in half. And yeah, I don't know. There's really not we haven't really seen a whole lot of anything where any game's going to be. All of that stuff will come out in the morning.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. We haven't talked really about Stephenville and West Plains too much, but West Plains was beating them early. And Stephenville ends up blowing them out in the second half. When that game, what was it, 41-21, I think was the final. Mm-hmm. But I mean, they were up 21-7, I think, at one point.
21-7 or 21-10, yeah.
Yeah. And so Stephenville turns it on. I picked Stephenville to win it all. I think this is as good as a Stephenville team. Talking to Coach Grant Freeman, former WFISD athletic director, he's seen a lot of Stephenville football over the years, and he thinks this is one of their top 5 teams all time. And they got an offensive line that doesn't quit. They're so good in the trenches, and they haven't always had that in the past. They did when Art Browse really established that dynasty, late 90s, early 2000s. That's when they had those big linemen and used those big splits and things like that. But man, I think Stephen, I'm anxious to see him. If Munster isn't playing here on Thursday, I know I'll be at home. That's probably the game I'm tuning into, Stephenville Salina.
The thing about the Stephenville West Plains game, because I'm doing a little social media searching right now, is it's 21-7 and it's almost halftime and Stephenville's driving. And they score basically 10 points in the last 35 seconds of the half. They score on like a 17-yard touchdown pass with 34 seconds. And I'm assuming they got an onside. Maybe they forced a fumble or interception. But then they kick a field goal on the last snap. So all of a sudden it goes from 21-7 to 21-17 and a half. And if you're West Plains, even though you're leading at halftime, you probably still feel pretty down in the dumps. Like, oh my gosh, we just played so well. And now we're only up 4, and Stephenville's got all the momentum. And obviously, the second half dominated by the Yellow Jackets. And so that to me, that's pretty impressive. That late second half flourish there by Stephenville probably got that job done tonight.
Well, move it on to next week. We know the matchups, obviously. We don't know where a lot of games are happening. We've heard some rumors about Munster and what that is. Again, waiting on Munster. Munster's kind of the one team left. Right from our area. Peaster, we cover a lot of Peaster, but Peaster is outside of our coverage areas necessarily. Now, don't get us wrong. We're going to be keeping an eye on the Greyhounds, and I hope I hope that they do win next week. I'm going to be seeing them at State as well. But Nolan, I don't know. How committed are you to this Munster thing? Is the trip to Amarillo? Is that in the future here? What's the deal?
Well, I can tell you if it's at Memorial Stadium, I'm pretty committed to that. That's pretty easy.
Yeah, but, I think we all are, yeah.
Yeah. But, I'll be working my big boy job, real life job Thursday. So if that game does end up in somewhere like Canyon, I'll have to see what I can make happen to make that trip. I'd really like to because I'd feel bad if I didn't, and then that ended up being the last game in my coverage area for the season, and I didn't go to it. So we'll see what I can make happen, but they can make it really easy if Coach Carney can just win that coin toss tomorrow morning. So
that's right, yeah. And I'm going to have to get him to – I mentioned Coach Freeman a little bit ago. I'm going to have to get Freeman to call Carney because because Grant Freeman is a whiz when it comes to those coin flips. So would like to get him get that happening. We're all cheering for Memorial Stadium around here. That's for sure.
I don't think it's official, but I'd heard Gunnar Wall will be in Stephenville at that new stadium, Art Briles. And they may even play. I'd heard they may even play a little earlier, like an earlier afternoon game, not like a 7:00 game. And
that's one I know just about statewide. I mean, that's one of the top games in the state to circle. Gunnar Wall is a great one last year. Gunnar, pulls that out. Wall kind of, gave him a good scare. And people believe that it's Wall's turn. That Wall's got the talent and the experience now to unseat Gunnar from that peak, the top of the mountain there of that division. So looking forward to that one, man. It's December football, guys. This is what we do. This is what we're up for all the time. And so, and we're going to keep this podcast going, even if I'm on the air by myself next week, because I know Zach Duncan can't do it. If Nolan is,
I might be able to. I mean, I'm coaching soccer Friday night, so I might.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So you might be able to get by 11 o'clock, man. By 11 o'clock,
I'm probably free, but I'm not going to know anything that happened. I'm not going to be able to be keeping up with scores while I'm coaching soccer down in the Frisco area. But yeah, no, I'll probably be down. But you just have to tell me what's going on.
You just crash course, man. You'll get it, and then Nolan, we'll see where you're at. If you get out there to Amarillo, that's a different trip. Hopefully, we are here close to Wichita Falls. Of course, that's a Thursday night, so we're talking about Friday. So we're gonna. I said my goal is be doing this in 2 weeks. Last Friday of the season, I want to be doing this thing from the press box at AT&T Stadium. So let's go. Man, it's the time of year, guys.
They'll probably kick you out.
That's all right.
At some point,
They'll kick us out at some point, but they usually let you stay. We'll see. If I got to do it from the
parking lot,
from outside, from the parking lot of AT&T Stadium, I'll settle for that too.
Go to the Walmart, maybe.
Yeah,
Walmart.
Whatever we got to do, man. Whatever we got to do.
Find a cot or a couch in there and just set up.
Well, guys, any last thoughts you guys want to ring in with real quick?
No, just a good week of football. The quarterfinals on in, everything gets really hyper focused, and so a lot of big wins, a lot of good games tonight. Probably Peaster Paradise was the game of the state, but I know there's a couple other games like that Mount Airy Prize game was 64-58, where that kid broke that record. So a lot of big wins tonight, and congratulations to all the teams.
Yeah,
and don't forget our sponsors. Don't forget our sponsors.
Oh, I will. I'll get those.
See, like Zach said, great night of December football. 8 more games tomorrow, along with college football conference championships. So there's a lot more football to sit down and watch and keep up with tomorrow. I'll have all those posted on my page, as I'm too big of a football nerd to just cover 2 games this week. I decided to cover all 44 games. So looking forward to watching some more football tomorrow.
Hey, this time of year, the cream rises to the top, right?
Oh my gosh.
I think I've heard that a couple times.
Oh my gosh. A little bit. The cream rises to the top. Yeah. I hope that our 10 viewers right now understand Randy Savage and what that means. But King, I do want to say one other game we didn't mention down the Houston area was Sheldon C. King beating Summer Creek 24-21. I know that was a big one too, to get that part of it. So that's a breakout year for King. It's been a breakout season for them, and a lot of success for them too. So anyway, great night of football. I'm like you, Nolan. I will be watching plenty of high school football alongside the college championship games. Hey, Texas Tech Red Raiders, Jacob Rodriguez, Heisman Trophy candidate. We love that. So get out there, keep voting for him, man. Get him to New York. Man, how cool would that be? A Rider kid, local kid, getting out to New York, being up for the Heisman. That'd be something. So, hey, want to thank our sponsors. We're going to get to them as we're heading off. But thank you guys for sticking with us all year with this show. And like I said, 2 more weeks of it. As long as high school football is going, so is Falls Friday night. We'll see you next week. Tonight's broadcast of Falls Friday Night was brought to you by Arrowhead Roofing. For more than 25 years, Arrowhead Roofing has been Texoma's trusted name for roofing, siding, gutters, and more. When storms hit or it's time for an upgrade, call the team Texoma has relied on since 1999. Arrowhead Roofing, the exterior experts. And Macaulay Landscapes. For 21 years, Macaulay Landscapes has been keeping Wichita Falls beautiful. Visit MacaulayLandscapes.com to learn more about their full range of services. Macaulay Landscapes, making Wichita Falls look its best since 2003. That wraps up another edition of Falls Friday Night. Every score, every story, every Friday.